not every company evolves. When I was a kid, Sears was the biggest department store ever. Right, now Sears, are they still around? I mean, they sold most of their stores and most of their property. If they're around, they're just barely
it's like a little
around.
small.
BlackBerry was the hottest cell phone company in the world.
Yeah.
They didn't want to do the touch screen. They felt the keyboard.
Question is,
they're a penny stock.
But the question is, have a person was able to make money? And obviously some people going to lose. So like you say, you don't have no safeguards, no guarantees. And I would imagine this for sure. Yeah. But if you put a limit order in place, I don't care. They come out and say Amazon cooked the books.
You could sell, but you know something? That's also what I feel is not a great strategy. Because if I believe in a company, if I'm invested in a company.
Now you about to go around circles. I see where you about to go.
If I believe in a company and it falls below the amount of money that I bought it for, I will then dollar cost average and buy more shares.
So will I.
At a cheaper price.
So will I.
If all my stocks, if I had sold at the point that it broke even, I wouldn't be very far these days.
For sure.
You see what I'm saying?
But you don't need the money.
I would not have the portfolio that I have.
But you don't need the money. So tell that to a person who needs the money.
Well, this is what I tell a person that needs the money, and I've made a video about this, so you could go back into my catalog and see. You should never invest money that you will potentially need for bills.
No, you should not.
Ever, 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 ever.
No, you should not. Especially if you don't know what you're doing.
Even if you know what you're doing, you should never invest money that you may have to pull out for your living expenses.
To pay bills of tomorrow, no, you should.
Because at the time that you pull them out, there's a good chance the market's going to be low.
It's good.
Because
it'll be down.
If you're fucked up, usually the world is fucked up to go along with it. So let's just say you buy a whole bunch of stocks. You buy a bunch of, Apple at $100. And then suddenly 4 months later, you lose your job or whatever else, you have a new baby, you have a car accident, you got to pull that money out. It may be the worst time in the world to pull that money out. You should only put aside the money and invest when you know you're not going to touch it. You should have an emergency account, cash account in your savings or some interest rate account, interest bearing account. That should be your emergency.
Most people don't have that.
And your stocks are your long-term that you never have to touch.
And most people don't got that.
Most people don't have that, but
they should.
Over time.
But they should.
They should.
And they ain't gonna have it because they live their lives like we do in the hood. Like they sell dope, like to do these things. So when you start saying to people, hey man, you do this, people say, well, I do that play. But you're right. Those things you're supposed to have, and those are the things we're trying to get people to have. But if people don't have those things, then what? You just don't give them nothing? Well, and so then it becomes trying to get them there. What strategies? You have to take risks.
Right. And what I feel is a good overall strategy for people, if I didn't know a lot about stock investing and I had let's just say I had $10,000 in my savings, I have it under my mattress and I'm trying to figure out what to do with it. What I've told people, and what, even people like Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street have all said, put it in the S&P 500. You have diversification built in. You have the top 500 companies, top 500, a piece of the top 500 companies in the country already. My whole 401k is in the S&P 500, top to bottom. And I've done great with it. S&P 500 has a small dividend. It's relatively safe compared to an individual stock. When I look at my portfolio, I compare it to the S&P 500. Most years I've done better, but some years the S&P 500 has kicked my ass. I've done way less than the S&P 500. You know what I'm saying? In retrospect, if I wanted to just take it easy, I would have just put everything in the S&P 500, and I would have made less, but not way less.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to double, triple, quadruple your money in a short period of time, but
it's safer.
It's safer.
It is safer.
And if the S&P 500 goes to zero, then the whole world is gone at that point.
That's not about to happen.
That means that a nuclear missile has dropped on America and there's no people left and they're colonizing Mars. Yeah. That's what that means. Right. It's not going to go to zero like a bet in Las Vegas.
No.
It's not.
No.
It's not.
No.